the line comes. Big stinking helicopter flow through the air. We them call it weed eater. Them never did it when we were open water.
To the seminar from Soma, he will talk about biological growing, how to grow. You can answer questions. You know him all, he's a guru. He developed the New York City diesel, and he will answer questions in the growing forum of Essenzi magazine. He's now our new question and answer guide that we have. So if you have any questions, you can send them to the magazine as well. But now the word to Soma.
Hi everybody. Of all of us, who loves their mother? Who loves their mom? Well, believe it or not, I love cannabis as much as I love my mom. And I love my mom with all my heart. And I think each one of us loves our mothers with all of our hearts. And when I watch myself love something like this sacred plant, cannabis, as much as I love my own mother, and as much as my mother, my own mother, comforts me since I was born, cannabis comforts me also. Because cannabis is the only medicine that I use. And in 2005, I had open heart surgery. And they had me on all these other medications. But in 2005, I started using cannabis as my only medication. And these days, I'm super healthy. I almost can't remember that I had that heart operation with that big scar in my chest, because cannabis makes me feel so good and so strong and so smart and so positive that to me it's one of the most sacred substances on the planet. And learning how to grow it is a really fun thing to do, because it's just growing this beautiful plant is therapy. Just being in the same room or the same outside place where beautiful cannabis plants are growing is therapy. Just to look at them, moving in the wind is medicine. Cannabis is the best stress reliever on the planet. There's nothing that takes stress away better than cannabis. And when you look at the state of the earth these days, if you look at the state of the planet, it's pretty desperate. I mean, the oceans are starting to turn black in the Gulf of Mexico. And there's wild forest fires burning in Russia. And globally, financially, nothing's working out too good. But, you know, cannabis has been around for at least 12,000 years being used by human beings. So cannabis has longevity. It doesn't go away. It doesn't matter how many bad governments make bad laws against the sacred plant cannabis. It never goes away. It always stays around, and it's always going to stay around. It's never going to go away. In fact, it's going to get more and more popular, because each one of us human beings, we have receptors in our brains that are made for THC. We're born with receptors for THC. And if we don't get enough THC as human beings, we can actually be THC deprived. We can actually be like missing vitamins and minerals, but missing THC is kind of like missing vitamins and minerals, because we're all meant to have that THC molecule running through our bloodstreams. We all operate better like that. It's just that there are so many bad laws that need to get changed because people are afraid of it. There's been so much fear tactics used over cannabis that at one point the whole world was afraid of cannabis, but it's not like that anymore. I mean, look at us here right now. This is the first time I've ever been in Prague. And you know what? I like Prague. Prague's a pretty great looking place and great feeling place, and the people in the Czech Republic are pretty friendly. And I could stay here longer than this show, you know, because I really like it around here, you know. I mean, I only just got here last night, but I can feel that there's a freedom here that I don't feel so many places, and I'm very sensitive to it. So, go Prague, go Czech, that's what I say. And, you know, I've been working with cannabis for 44 years. And in those 44 years, I've gone through all these different phases. When I first did it, I was working for IBM on Madison Avenue. I had a 3-piece suit on. I was clean shaven. I'd go to work 9 to 5 every day, you know, Monday through Friday. And I was like working at IBM in the mailroom, and I was thinking, God, man, what if I really got a future here, you know? It's like, I don't know. I like computers, but, you know, this like corporate environment, I don't really think it's my thing, you know? And then this guy came in, he said, you ever try smoking weed? And I said, no. He said, you want to try some? I said, yeah, but I don't even know how to roll one of them cigarettes, because I didn't even know the word joint yet. And next day he brought me some rolled joints. And I went out right after work. I went on this bridge. I was all by myself, and I lit up that joint. And as I started to smoke it, I started to realize I was really liking that feeling that I was feeling. I wasn't sure what it was yet, but I knew I was liking it. And so I started smoking it on the weekends. And then Monday through Friday, I'd go to work at IBM, wear the 3-piece suit, short hair, clean shaven. And every weekend I kept smoking it. And then my sideburns started going, and my hair started going a little bit over my ears, and started wearing like yellow shirts with my suit and stuff. And they call me in there and they go, look, you gotta get a haircut, you gotta cut your sideburns. And I go, look, I quit. And then I just started smoking more and more all the time. And I noticed the more I smoked, the longer my hair started growing. And then I just quit cutting it, man. And now I didn't cut my hair for 25 years, and I didn't cut this beard for 17 years, and I ain't cutting it no more. What I like to do is grow stuff. Not just my hair, but I like to grow weed. I mean, like growing weed, growing cannabis is one of the most fun things. And there's all kinds of different ways to do it. You can do it in a real greedy way and use like poisonous chemicals to farm it with, and you'll end up with buds, you know, and you can sell them and people will smoke them, but it might have a bitter taste and probably won't get people too high, because the cannabis plant is really sensitive to vibrations. Whatever thoughts you think around the plants that you're growing, that really affects the plants. If you think thoughts that come from your heart when you're working with the cannabis plants, then you're gonna really end up with something special. In fact, anything that us humans do in our lives, if we do it from our hearts, that's the way special things happen. That's the way special artwork happens. That's the way special music happens. That's the way special plants happen too, doing it with your heart. And when you do it with your heart, you start to think about the ingredients that you use in this process. Like, do you use poisonous pesticides to kill all the insects, even though you might be breathing it, or the person that smokes it, if it's not you, might be taking some pesticides in off that plant? Or do you think of organic, environmentally friendly ways to do these things that aren't just good for you, but are good for everybody, the whole environment, the whole planet? And so, through time, since I've been growing cannabis, I started growing cannabis in 1971. So 1971, 39 years I've been growing it. And in those 39 years, I've done all kinds of different things. In the beginning, I used like all kinds of chemical fertilizers that are on the market, because I didn't know any different. And I'd end up with cannabis plants that looked pretty good and smoked pretty good, and I thought it was pretty nice homegrown. And then I started doing some research into what those fertilizers were made from, and they were made from mostly a lot of petroleum products. Petrochemicals, they call them. But I didn't really feel like taking that in my body as a medicine. So I started doing research on like all the organic foods that I could find. And then I came across foods like Advanced Nutrients. Advanced Nutrients has some of the finest growing foods that I've ever used. And each different food has a list of the ingredients that are in it, so you can like get an idea of like where these sources are coming from. And you know, it's like I like using foods that are organic. Like I like using organic guano, seabird guano and bat guano. And